If you are familiar with Australian politics, then you probably are also familiar with the motion that was brought forth by Senator Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson is the leader of the One Nation Party, also infamous for the Please Explain situation that happened in the 90s. Today, it's one of those rare occasions where I agree with the motion that she brought forth in Parliament, and that is the "It is okay to be white" campaign. Is it not okay to be white? I didn't even know that this was an issue. I didn't know that it's not okay to be white. The fact that it's actually being brought forward it says a lot. It means that white, it hasn't been okay to be white for a while, and that is something that I find to be a concern. That is very concerning. I think it's okay to be anything. It should be acceptable, at least. I'm sure you've heard people say, "I'm black and I'm proud. I'm this and I'm proud," and pride marches, Mardi Gras and things of that nature. So it's clearly acceptable for every other group and every other race to be proud in who and what they are. So why is it not acceptable for whites to be white? Why is whiteness not okay? Here's my thing. If it's okay for these groups to be proud of their color and proud of their race because they've been oppressed, okay? So what it looks like now to me is that white people are being oppressed in return. So the punishment for these other races having been oppressed for so long, as they're claiming, is that white people should now be also oppressed in return. And at the same time, these are the same people that are fighting for equality and equal rights. So if you don't like racism, if you don't want your group and your race to be racially discriminated against or to be subject to prejudice, then why is it okay to racially target white people? So one day, let's say years from now, after complete oppression and discrimination of white people, when whites become the total subject of everything, right? Let's say they become the biggest oppressed, and it's becoming like that slowly. That's what we're seeing now. We're seeing that white people are becoming more and more oppressed. So years from now, when they start fighting for their rights as well, for equal rights, will it still be okay to march on the streets that you're black and proud, or you're yellow and proud, or gay and proud? Will it then be only acceptable for white people to say that they're white and proud? See, this logic here is what I find to be very warped, because if we're fighting for equality, then all members and all groups and all races, we should accept everybody as they are. We should accept black people as they are. We should accept white people, yellow people. It should be okay to be trans. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be Christian. It's okay to be atheist. So what we should be advocating for really here is for everybody to be treated equal, right? If it's about equal rights, then whites have just as much rights as anybody else. But what I'm seeing here is that it's more about the inferiority complex of non-white people. I wouldn't even be offended. If I was a white person, honestly, I would not be offended about, or I would not be hurt by any of this. I would not be hurt by the fact that everyone is trying to target me, or I'm being silenced as a member of the white community, because it just goes to show how inferior other groups and communities feel. They feel less than. That is their own problem. It's not white people's problem if you feel like you are so inferior that you cannot handle a white person being proud in their whiteness. That is your own problem. It's not the white people's problem. It's not a white person's problem or fault that you're not proud of your own race. If you are really truly proud of being black, right, as you proclaim you're black and proud, if you truly were proud, then you wouldn't have any problem with anybody else being proud of their race, because that's the essence of equality. It's the essence of freedom. We want freedom and equality for all, unless what we're fighting for is ultimately the oppression and supremacy of other races over white people. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with a world where there are people and groups that are being oppressed, because That's not fair. I believe in fairness. I believe in personal liberties, and that's why I consider myself a libertarian, because I wouldn't want someone to come and tell me not to take pride in my blackness or to take pride in whatever it is that I want to take pride in. You know, if white people want to take pride in their whiteness, you know what? You go out there, do your thing. That just goes to show that other races actually, in fact, feel inferior. It's not because of white supremacy. It's not white supremacy that is to blame. I think this has gone beyond the point of white supremacy, but it's rather about non-whites feeling inferior.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.